August 1964, and an amateur cine camera captures the Flying Scotsman chugging into the rail depot at Saltley in Birmingham. It's already travelled 2 million miles in public service, but a year and a half into retirement, its story is far from over. The Flying Scotsman is actually the name of the 10 a.m. passenger train service between London and Edinburgh, started in 1862 and still running today. In 1924, the London and North Eastern Railway named a locomotive after the service, and Class A1 Pacific engine number 4472 became the Flying Scotsman. The 392-mile route from London to Edinburgh on the East Coast Main Line took it through Peterborough, Grantham, Newark and Retford. On May 1, 1928, number 4472 made the first long-distance non-stop journey by a steam locomotive. 6.5 years later, on November 30, 1934, another record, the first recorded speed of 100 miles an hour made under steam power. Flying Scotsman was a national celebrity. One of the first British talking pictures was based around it, a 1929 romantic thriller which called for some outrageous real-life stunts performed as the train hurtled through the countryside. During its 40 years of public service, it was converted to Class A3 and was renumbered several times, 502, 103, 60103. But when it retired 50 years ago this week, it reverted back to 4472, and that's when it really became a star, at public appearances like these at Derby and Gloucester. When it arrived at Birmingham's Snow Hill station, it was greeted by 8,000 well-wishers. The man who gave Flying Scotsman life after retirement was businessman Alan Pegler, the son of a Nottinghamshire entrepreneur. In 1968, he took the loco to the USA, but the 5-year trip was a financial disaster for Pegler and he went bankrupt, selling the engine to construction millionaire Sir William McAlpine. He brought it back to the UK and called on engineers at Derby to de-Americanise and completely overhaul it. Along with their many other restoration projects, the team at Tyseley Loco Works in Birmingham also worked on the Flying Scotsman. It was a guest of honour at the first of their steam open days, which are still run twice yearly.
Had it not been for the preservation movement at large, whether it be us or people like the Severn Valley Railway or wherever, the small independents tucked away in a little yard somewhere, every one you fix is one that would not have been saved without the preservation movement.
Passengers travelling on the Scotsman Special.
1988, and Australia beckoned. Flying Scotsman was now 65 years old, but set more distance records down under. By 1995, though, it was again in need of dire repair. Coventry-born music impresario and steam fanatic Pete Waterman bought a share in the engine, but it was left to another Midlands businessman, Tony Marchington from Buxton in Derbyshire, to plough £1 million into a major refurbishment. In 1992, it was back in Birmingham again at the Tyseley Loco Works, this time offering steam enthusiasts the chance of a lifetime to actually drive the Flying Scotsman.
I never dreamt I'd be able to drive one of these. Never dreamt about it. So you think it's worth 95 quid, do you? Every penny.
Smiles all round, but Tony Marchington too eventually went bust in 2003, putting the loco's future in doubt once again. Home for the Flying Scotsman since 2004 has been here, the National Railway Museum at York. It's now part of the National Collection, bought back into public ownership following a huge fundraising campaign that helped to buy it. It's now undergoing probably the most comprehensive overhaul since it was built in 1923, just in time for its 90th birthday.
What's been done here now is effectively open heart surgery on a very old machine to make it work so that it can comply with all the difficulties of running on a railway out there that's very heavily congested. The speeds have increased and there's a lot more safety equipment, so it's being put through the mill to make it work in the 21st century.
Some will no doubt name Thomas the Tank Engine or Hogwarts Castle as the most famous steam locomotive they know, but those are works of fiction. The Flying Scotsman is a work of art, a piece of history that hopefully will soon be riding the rails through the Midlands once again. Andy Bevan, ITV News.